So that is a little bit of where we are now and what kind of the realm I live in terms of the environment and how much I'm so tied to it with my job. 2020, the fires were so bad that the wine industry is really going to have a hard year. There's probably very little to the 2020 vintage. And wine is like, you won't feel that for a few years because wine, you have to make it, sit in a bottle. So it's a really high investment product. But most of the wineries did not pick their grapes. They were smoke tainted because the fires started so early. So this was starting in August, and usually fire season is like October. The first fire in 2017, for an example, was mid-October. So fire season is getting longer and it's getting worse. And it was a constant for about 2.5 months last year of not being able to go outside. So on top of COVID, we couldn't go out. We could do everything outside because of COVID, so we couldn't go indoors. But then with the fires, you couldn't go outside. So it created a very interesting situation for people who live here. So I'm going to kind of switch abruptly to just talking about zero waste, which is really why I'm here, but I did want to give you that context of what I do. Zero waste is the new buzzword for the green movement, but really what we're trying to do is minimize what goes to the landfill. And I think that we all can just make little baby steps in our lives to use less single-use plastics and to be a little more thoughtful of what we buy and how we do things in our home. Really, if you could do one thing, if there was one thing anyone can do, I think just choosing where you shop, what that company is like. You know, we can make such a small impact as individuals, collectively a bigger impact, but really businesses and corporations really have the power to make really big change. So voting with your dollars is what I always say is the one most important thing that we can do to help to be greener. But a few things that I do. So I have a few things I was going to show you. Just so things that I don't use any more plastic or really paper in the kitchen anymore. Like this is an example of like, it's called a food hugger. So my son doesn't finish his yogurt. So I just kind of use this instead of using plastic wrap. I don't buy sparkling water anymore. We have something called the Soda Stream. I don't know if you have that in Brazil. You just fill it up with filtered water and then you can buy like the CO2 and make your own sparkling water, but then we drink a lot of it. So we're not going through all of those cans. I use glass for almost everything. This is my son's cup. People think kids need plastic because they'll break everything, but that's not really true. If you teach them to be careful and you have sturdier glass, then you really don't need a bunch of plastic for them. This is called a beeswax wrap. So instead of plastic wrap, you can put it over anything, or you can wrap like a half-eaten tomato, like anything. But again, no plastic wrap, no Ziploc bags. And then the other thing is, so, you know, reusable water bottles. I'm sure you guys already use those, but no single, like to me, buying a bottle of water is something if I have to do it at an airport, I cringe, but actually San Francisco now has refillable stations. So I try to bring my own bottle even when I travel now. And then like these little things like with kids, like just to make stuff without using paper. So those are just a few things that I do in the kitchen, and then really dividing your garbage, which has to do with your city and I don't know if in Rio you can compost if you have compost collection, but San Francisco with all of its greening initiatives, we have compost pickup, recycling pickup, and garbage pickup all on the same day. So we can very easily in our home, just by that, reduce what goes in the actual garbage. Food waste is one of the biggest wastes in the world. So we try to use up everything, but then what we can't compost. And then a few things in groceries. So we use reusable bags. And then here's my son with a box of produce from a farm. Again, they don't use when you go to the grocery store, you have to use all those plastic bags to put your produce in. I actually have these guys. so you don't have to use the plastic that they have. You can just bring your own bags. But if you buy direct from a farm, then it comes in a box like that. So you don't actually need either. You just get loose vegetables. Shopping local, you know, I haven't been to Brazil in a long time, and I definitely didn't do my own grocery shopping when I was there. I was a teenager, but San Francisco, again, being at the forefront of greening, started something called the locavore movement in 2005, which was really pushing people to buy local from their local farms, which in California is pretty easy to do because we have a lot of farms and a lot of fresh produce. But generally speaking, the concept means your food is fresher, riper, tastier, and it doesn't travel and just reduces the general output of getting that food from the farm to you. And most local food doesn't have pesticides or, you know, they rotate crops and have all of the best. They can be very transparent about their growing practices. The other thing is to buy in bulk, so you can bring your own bags to the grocery store. Again, I'm not sure what you can do. With COVID, we can't do that anymore. So that's also one of the losses of COVID, is that a lot of the things in the grocery store that are hands-on, you know, we couldn't bring our own bags to the grocery stores for a while. And so we're kind of getting back to that in San Francisco, where they're removing some of these backwards COVID rules. But that definitely hindered us a little bit. And then the quote I put here at the bottom was, eat food, not too much, mostly plants. I don't know if you've ever heard that. I know there's a huge debate of like, is being vegetarian the best choice? And really, I think that's more of a question for everyone's body, not, you know, that before the planet. But I like his take on it because really, if you're balanced and you're trying to support sustainable meat, you know, ranches and all of that, you can probably eat whatever you want. But this book is called The Omnivores Dilemma. Again, he's from here, and he was part of the big local movement. So if you ever wanted to dive a little bit into that, I highly recommend this book. And then these were just a few other things that I do at home. I try to buy my kids stuff from, like, especially for the baby, like wooden toys and things that aren't plastic, that if they break, they have to go to the landfill, but that are long lasting. So I can pass it on to another mom. We use a lot of buy nothing groups on Facebook. So instead of, when I want to get rid of something, I just post it for free. And then we just kind of reuse a lot of the stuff within the community. There's some reusable cotton wipes, if that's something that's part of kind of if you use those in the bathroom for anything. Using bar soap and shampoo. I don't do that yet, but that was on my green list for this year. But again, like, we can all do little things, you know, if it doesn't make you happy, then choose what you really want to focus on. But that's a big one for me. With kids, we have like the kids shampoo, the adult shampoo. And so just trying to minimize the amount of stuff that we have. I do use these wool dryer balls. I didn't bring them with me, but you can put essential oils on them and they kind of minimize the energy used. Again, where you shop, I didn't bring it with me, but I just got a package from a kid's store that I like to shop for my kids, and they actually put their entire delivery was in a compostable delivery box. So, but I'm going to stop now because I realize that we're running out of time, but I will send this to you also if you want to follow some other green social media accounts to get some inspiration. And then I made a list of action items that I can also share with you later, but I'm going to just stop and see if anyone wants to chat.
You can ask and use your time now because you're not going to have a lot of time. Yes, Camila.
So I was curious about like your own perception in regards to the California wildfires. If you noticed that people were actually changing their way of life, so if they adopted like more sustainable solutions and really a more sustainable lifestyle after all of this visible impact due to the wildfire.
I mean, yes, I think people here are personally pretty green. The impact of the wildfires really rallied some like really bigger issues than using a water bottle. It was like people rallied in the community to go clean up some brushes in the woods, because I don't know if anyone remembers when Donald Trump said California needs to clean up their forests. Well, the forests are federal land, so really it should be Donald Trump's job to have assigned people to do that. But California and individuals have taken it upon themselves to clean up some of the wild areas, because really that's what that's what makes the wildfires bigger, is when you have really dry brush buildup. So actually going into the woods and doing things to stop the spread is now what's happening. And then also just having, I've seen mom groups be like, what can we do as a community, and trying to find ways to get our kids to know like what's going on and how to explain to them like what's happening.
Thank you.
I was wondering about your career and like what actions you've taken to maybe include sustainability in like your professional work.
So I work for a pretty green company. There's a lot of practices in the vineyard that are sustainable that we keep pushing forward. We use pest management. You know, we have like owl houses, so the owls eat the pests, so we don't have to use pesticides. We use minimal irrigation because California has a huge drought and water problem. You know, just in general for us, it's an industry. So as the wine industry can make pretty big headway on doing some sustainable practices, and just, we're not organic, but organic is a label that a lot of farmers don't pursue because it takes a lot of money and hoops. But that doesn't always mean that something isn't raised sustainably if it's not organic. So I've always wanted to align myself with companies that are putting those practices into place.
Interesting, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I am very, very happy with your presentation, Camille. And in fact, why not? And the bell is ringing. Why not? We really think about you presenting this to other people, because I saw that many other people would like to see what you have shown to us today. And we have to go, but I'm really happy to see that. And please, people, she's going to be showing to us this presentation. You see a lot of things that she showed there. Even this book, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've heard about.
I have this one too.
Yeah.
This is a book I bought last week. She's local here too, and they own a store that has all of these like reusable things. But I think I'll send Ms. Frady an email with the links. And then if you all have any questions, if you want to talk career develop, like how to get from A to B, I mean, I'm home with a baby, so right now I'm not working and I have some time.
Yes.
So feel free to email me if you have any follow-up questions.
Yeah. When do you have to go back to work?
I'm going early June 8th. I'm going back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really congratulations for your life. Congratulations for your
Thank you.
kids, husband, and the life that you are having. We never know when you leave your school, sometimes we do not have this opportunity of seeing, you know, what happened to the students that we've seen here so, you know, young. Yes, Maria Gaduti, say something quick because we have to go.
I don't know if I've tried the Love Beauty and Planet shampoo bar, but it's really great and the smell is amazing.
Okay.
I
Love
was
Beauty.
like trying all those brands to kind of see what it's best for my hair, and I really liked, but it's not available in Brazil, but I bought in the US and it's amazing.
Okay.
The problem is that sometimes the greener is sometimes more expensive too, right?
Aha, but you need less of it. So really, sometimes the cost is up front for some things like refill, like something like this. Like you have to buy $100 for the soda stream, but then you're not buying sparkling water for every time you go to the grocery store.
Clap our hands like we always do here when we have a presentation. We want to thank you very much, Camille. But these people have to go because they have classes too.
Okay.
It was amazing to see and to,
Good
you
to
know.
see you all. Good luck.
Thank
with
you very
everything.
much.